We're serving up something good for National Nutrition Month. Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table. Sydney here, and today we are going to continue about National Nutrition Month. So I mentioned last time that National Nutrition Month is from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They began this in 1973, really to help people make informed decisions about the foods they're eating, their food choices, developing these healthy eating habits, and also physical activity habits. So this has been going on for quite some time, but it's a great time for us to really hone in on our different habits, especially related to health and wellness, and just helping us to make good choices. So this year, their theme is Beyond the Table, and this is really looking at that farm to fork aspect. So looking at how foods are grown, the production, the distribution of the food, navigating the grocery store, farmers markets, and even like food safety and those storage practices as well. So we're going to be kind of expanding on some of that we talked about last week or the week before last, and talking a little bit more about beyond the plate, eating beyond the plate. But what we'll do to start with, I'll go ahead and get started on our recipe. We are making 2 recipes from eatright.org, which is from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And this first one is a cereal-coated French toast bites with a yogurt dip. It sounds delicious. It's all the things I really enjoy eating for breakfast. So when we're talking about eating healthy and trying to make more informed decisions, this can also, especially when we're going to be eating on the go, maybe we've got a busy day, we want to start our breakfast off right. So this is a great recipe that will really help to set us up for our day. So to start with, we are going to be making our yogurt dip. So all we need is some Greek yogurt. This is just plain Greek yogurt. Benefit of using this is that we are getting in some protein in the morning, but we're also kind of making it that nice lean protein. I feel like breakfast can either be very protein heavy or it can be very carb heavy. So when I typically think about breakfast being protein heavy, it's usually in the form of being loaded with fat as well. So you think about your bacon, your eggs, your sausage, you might have your biscuit with that, but we've got all those things kind of involved and really very little fruits and vegetables. So this will give us some protein, but it's that good protein that's lean. It's not going to be extremely heavy, and it's going to be lower in that saturated fat, which is better for that heart rate. We are still getting a little bit of that sweetness in here. Of course, this recipe sounds sweet, hence why I love it so much. But this is just an all-fruit strawberry spread, so you can add that in there. We're just doing about 2 tablespoons. And this is our yogurt dip. Very easy, very simple. We're just going to take it and mix that together. So the all fruit spread allows us to not have a lot of added sugar in there. Typically when we do like a strawberry jam, there's going to be quite a bit of sugar that's added. We're already getting a little bit of sugar from our cinnamon raisin bread that we have here. I did try to pick one that was lower in sugar. My grocery store really only had 2 options. So it was this one, which was a little bit more expensive, or kind of a cheaper one that definitely had more sugar. All right, next up we have some bran flakes. So this helps to give us some whole grains. It's just a basic bran flake that I got from the grocery store. It was the grocery store brand. And we have 2 cups here of uncrushed. And what we're gonna do is crush it up which will make about 1 cup. I find this to be the easiest way. Throw it in a bag and just beat it. So that's what we're gonna do. So we'll put this all together. Great activity for those kiddos if you've got kids that are helping you with breakfast. Also something you could definitely prep ahead of time. So mixing your yogurt dip ahead of time, you could crush up your flakes ahead of time. So this will help to save you some time in the morning. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so next we are gonna make our egg mixture. So actually I'll go ahead and put this. This is basically French toast. So think of it as we need our little bowls for dipping. So we'll put that there. That will allow us to easily get our bread in. And then this will be kind of our egg mixture that we're gonna dunk, and then throw it into our pan. So to start with, we have 2 eggs. 1. And so we have 2 whole eggs. This will help to give us some of those healthy fats, some choline that we get from eggs, which is super important for our brain health. And then we have 3 egg whites. So I'm gonna finish kind of separating these eggs, and we'll see you guys back in just 1 second.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
Hey guys, welcome back. So I have my eggs all in here mixed with my egg whites. We're gonna add a little bit of milk. This is just 2 tablespoons of a low-fat milk. We have 1% that we use typically at my house, so that's just what I brought. If you have a dairy alternative that you wanna use, that would be absolutely fine too. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Smells so good. And 1.5 teaspoons of our vanilla extract. So this will be what we're gonna dredge our bread in. Now the great thing about this recipe is you can do different flavors of your yogurt dip. So we did strawberry yogurt dip, but you could do any fruit spread that you like. Grape, mango, peach, they've got all kinds of stuff. And then as far as our bread, I was just talking with the fellas here about cinnamon raisin bread. I could eat a whole loaf of cinnamon raisin bread myself. But they're not big raisin fans. So you could just do like cinnamon swirl. You could opt for a different bread entirely. I would recommend trying to get one that is gonna be more whole grain, or at least half of those grains be whole in that bread. So even some of your multi-grains, just check to see if whole is in one of the first 1 to 2 words in the ingredients list. And that will help to make sure that it is more of a whole grain bread. Okay, and I've got my pan on. So what we're gonna do, I am adding a little bit of butter. Just butter is good flavor. I used to be somebody that just never used butter, and recently I've just realized it's okay to have a little bit of butter here and there. It's not that I'm putting it on everything, but it helps to really give good flavor, and butter does still have some of those saturated fats in there, but we need fat in our diet as well, so don't be scared to eat fat. It's absolutely important for us. It's good for our brain health and all different kinds of things. So I'm just going to, as best I can and as neatly as I can, flip this and kind of let that wash kind of run off. Then we're gonna dip it in our cereal mixture. And this is providing some extra whole grains too from those bran flakes. And then we're gonna throw it in our pan. I do need to turn my pan up just a little bit. And that'll really only sit for about 2 minutes, so not a very long time. But the main thing that we're concerned about here in terms of food safety and what we're cooking is that egg. We want to make sure our egg is cooked through. It is the only thing that's raw in this recipe. So about 2 minutes should be plenty for the amount of egg we're using today. Looks pretty good. And this should make, these slices are actually a little bit thinner than what the recipe called for. So I pulled out 6 slices just in case. We'll see how much of our mixture it actually uses here. But I would say, you know, you don't want to waste it. So keep on dipping until you run out of your good egg mixture or your cereal here. And you can always freeze this for later. I love, especially on the weekends when I have a little bit more time, I'll make, you know, banana pancakes or some of our other recipes that we have made before in the past. And if I have leftovers, I'll just go ahead and freeze those. And then during the week, I can throw them in the toaster and heat them up. And they are good to go. If you have a toaster oven, that would probably be best for this type of recipe. Even an air fryer, you could throw this in there and it would very easily, you know, cook breakfast very quickly for you in the morning with little effort on your part. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for about 2 minutes and then it will be good to go. We've still got a little bit, so we probably could do 1 to 2 more slices. That's all the room I've got in my pan right now, so that's all we'll do at this moment. So a couple other things that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of eating healthy and getting beyond the plate. I've got a couple tips for you. So we talked about eating breakfast. So it's a great way to kind of start your day off right. Especially, I like to think about if we are going on a road trip or maybe we've got a really busy day ahead and you won't be able to make as many of those healthy choices as you would like to, then have a good healthy breakfast to start you off right. Part of that too is planning when we're throughout our day. So think about your meals, your commitments that you've got, what you've got going on throughout your day. And when you consider those, you can kind of go ahead and develop a plan in your head to make sure you're going to be good on your eating choices. And nobody's perfect. We all aren't going to be able to have a perfect diet for every single meal, everything we eat. But if you at least have some of those that mindfulness piece in, then you're going to be making those healthy choices because you're thinking about it a little bit more often than maybe you otherwise would. So we're going to let our bread finish cooking and we will see you guys back in just 1 second. Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our French toast all done. It looks delicious. We might have tried a bite and it was delicious. So absolutely, this is a great breakfast. You've got your Greek yogurt for protein. You've got a little bit of egg for protein as well, and some healthy and some fats that include your choline. And then your carbs will help to give you energy to kind of get your day started. So very easy, simple breakfast that didn't take too terribly long. And if you make it ahead of time, you could easily just heat it up in the oven, in the toaster oven. I would probably avoid an actual toaster because the cereal bits might fall off and that wouldn't be good, but very, very good. Highly recommend. We're gonna switch over to our cheesy white bean cakes. So I went ahead and kind of got started with this recipe. This is another one from eatright.org, But this is a great way to incorporate some more vegetables into a side dish that still tastes nice and hearty. Sometimes we feel like our vegetables don't satisfy us maybe enough, and that's typically in how we're preparing those vegetables, that we're not adding things that help to give us that satisfaction flavor in there. That's why we always talk about using lots of herbs and seasonings and roasting them, different techniques that are going to bring out that flavor. But beans are one of those things that has lots and lots of fiber, really good for us, a really great thing for us to incorporate into our diet more often. It does have some protein in there as well. It kind of counts as your vegetable and your protein if you're looking at your MyPlate. So this is a pretty simple recipe that will help you to get those beans in. So we just used a can of white cannellini beans, and I went ahead and mashed them just because it's going to would take me a little bit to mash everything, but I left a few beans whole over here to show you guys. You can use a potato masher or a fork like I'm doing. We don't have a very good potato masher here, so fork it is. It's perfectly fine for it to be chunky. That's kind of what we're looking for, but we do want a semi-smooth consistency. A tip for you if you are doing this, A, this will help to reduce gas, but B, if you're struggling to mash it up, put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Okay, it'll soften up your beans. It will also help to reduce gas. We found that if you actually do heat up beans, even if they're canned, it does help to reduce gas if you have any issues when you're eating beans with it causing some gas issues. So next I'm just going to add 1 egg. And we've got a few other, go ahead and mix that up. A few other things we're going to mix all in here, and then we'll be forming our patties. So I'm sure you could use other types of beans here, but the white beans are something that doesn't really take too much flavor away from the dish, and it blends very nicely into whatever you're making. So we're gonna add a little bit of mayonnaise. This is a 1/4 cup of a light mayo. I like to buy the olive oil mayo, so any of the ones that have that are lower in saturated fat is gonna be your goal. So typically I'll buy like a canola oil mayonnaise, or the olive oil is great. I think if I can get all this, it will be about 1/4 cup. Bought an extra one just in case. Well, I think we will need to open the second one. I'll go ahead and do that. We also have some corn. So I have a cup of frozen corn that's kind of been thawed out. I've just had it sitting out for a little bit. You could also throw it in the refrigerator, or you could zap it in the microwave really quickly. And let me grab a spoon here. We don't want to cross-contaminate, so keep that in mind if you are. I dipped that knife in here, but I had raw egg in there, so we don't want to take that knife and put it back into the mayonnaise container here, because then you're going to get raw egg all in your mayonnaise container, and yuck, that's going to spread some bacteria that way. So want to prevent that as much as possible. Food safety is very important. Stir all this. I'm just kind of stirring as I go, but you could wait and do all the ingredients and then stir. We're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. That'll help to kind of brighten some of those flavors, bring some of those flavors out. We're going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning. So this is also a tablespoon. I'm just going to eyeball because I just used liquid in there. Oh, sorry, that was teaspoon. I might have added a little bit extra. That's all right. A little bit of salt and pepper. And this is just kind of to taste. And then our last two ingredients are some breadcrumbs and some cheese. So we're just going to do about half a cup of breadcrumbs here. And the mozzarella cheese. So our mozzarella cheese is a lower fat cheese, and that can help us kind of keep some of that saturated fat down as well. So we're doing about 3/4 of a cup. And that's it. Easy peasy. So I'm going to mix this all together. We'll take a quick break, and then I'll see you guys back to patty these up and get them in the pan.
When it comes to new, liquidated, and overstocked merchandise at unbeatable prices, look no further than J&B Liquidations. Shop our warehouse for discounts 40 to 90% off home goods, furniture, pet, baby, toys, tools, and more. The warehouse is stocked daily, and our staff is here and ready to help. Open to the public Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Hey guys, welcome back. So I've got our mixture made. We're doing about a tablespoon of oil in our pan here. Starting to do my patties. I went ahead and made 3. This recipe says it makes 8. I might be going, well, no, I'm probably good size. It says about 1/8 of an inch thick, so you want them to be fairly thin. I'm just mashing them down kind of as best as possible while still being able to maintain some of that shape. So we've got some good vegetables in here. That corn helps to give us some fiber as well. And our beans, of course, count as our vegetable. We've got our cheese, which gives us some good cheesy flavor, some good fats in there. So this is a great recipe that you could make at home as an appetizer, as a side, really as anything that you are looking for. I think these would also freeze pretty nicely, and they would be really good heated up in the oven or in an air fryer. I'm all about making things ahead of time. So, you know, let's say you're a family. I have a lot of folks who are like, it's just me at home. Or it's just me and my spouse, and my kids don't live at home with me anymore, and I don't need to make all this food. This is a lot of food, Sydney. Why are you having me make all this food? You can easily either adjust the recipe, just do half of it, or I'm all about freezing. If a recipe will be a good option to freeze it, make it work. We can still eat at home and eat healthy. Don't let it deter you from eating a healthier diet just because you don't have as many mouths to feed at your house. So what I'm doing now, we actually needed a total of 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, and we just added half of those breadcrumbs in the mixture, and then we're topping our mixture, our patties with the remaining breadcrumbs. So I'm doing the best I can with small space. I should have got a bigger cutting board here to operate on, but it's all good. Go ahead and put some of these in the pan. So our pan's not real big. You can hear that good sizzle already happening. So cooking at home is one of our tips for eating right, eating more healthily. So all of these recipes are going to be great ones that you can do to start eating more meals at home. And if you're ever looking for more tips, we have programs that we're doing here at the Extension office. I'm actually doing a Med Instead of Meds class right now. We've got a good group. They're loving working together, and we are cooking meals right here in this kitchen. So people are getting that hands-on interaction, and that is what I'm all about. If you are looking for more practice, more tips on how to cook more meals at home, give me a call, send me an email. I can add you to our email list for the next time we're gonna have a class. There will be a brief break because, as you guys can tell, I've got a little one coming. So we're not gonna have a ton of classes this summer, but those will resume this fall if you're interested in those. Okay, so we've got a good sizzle happening over here. We're gonna let this continue to cook just for about 4 minutes on each side. I'll wash my hands real quick. Of course, that's part of our food safety. We want to wash our hands before we start cooking. And if you're ever handling meat or raw eggs, anything that could contaminate anything else that you're touching, make sure that you wash those hands really well. Put that to the side. So I want those to get nice and brown. The hardest part is not touching them because you want to check. You're just really eager to see, is it cooking the way it's supposed to? But we want it to be nice and brown and then flip it. That'll help to give us that crispiness. It'll crisp up and just have more of that crunch. If you continue to flip back and forth, it's never going to quite crisp up like we want it to. And that's going to, of course, affect the flavor and the mouthfeel of our overall dish. So a couple other tips, and by the way, these are all on eatright.org. There's tons of really great resources. This one is 20 health tips. We haven't even talked about half of them. They've got another one about eating healthy on the run. So if you're somebody who is constantly moving, constantly running from one appointment to the next or one meeting to the next, then that's a really great resource to help you kind of focus on making healthier choices. But we mentioned eating breakfast, cooking more at home. Some other tips, drinking more water, that's a big one. We tend to not drink enough water throughout the day. I'm very guilty of that as well. We want to try to get some more water in our diet. And trying to have healthy snacks. So that's part of planning ahead, is making sure you have some good healthy snacks that you can choose from throughout the day. So I'm flipping these. We'll show you guys what this looks like. Got a good brown golden color kind of happening on the other side. Look very good. You're gonna serve these with some marinara sauce. So if you enjoy pizza sauce or pasta sauce, you could dip it in that. I think they're gonna be delicious even without this. But I hope that this was helpful for you as you're trying to make healthy meals for National Nutrition Month. Reach out to me if there's any way that I can help you, and we'll show you guys what these look like all cooked up. See you guys next time on At the Table.